the subject of animal confinement, there are two main definitions. Definition one is any system of raising poultry or other livestock in which the animals are kept from contact with the ground, primarily as a sanitary measure. And the second definition can be seen as like ideas such as SeaWorld or zoos. SeaWorld can also be used as an example for animal confinement. They keep wild animals such as orcas in small tanks, training them to do tricks. My name is Aki. I'm Jocelyn.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Naomi.
Me and Jocelyn are going to be arguing against animal confinement.
And me and Naomi are going for.
For. Okay.
Pantene Nutrient Blends.
So I'll start off. I believe that zoos are like pretty much animal prisons. You like pretty much like you've seen zoos. Like if they're really small environments, obviously they cannot house like such huge animals, like such as elephants. Like it's too small. It's too small of a habitat for them to live in. It's not beneficial to their health or anything.
I think a lot of the animals that stay in zoos actually prosper from staying there.
Well, it was actually found that in a lot of cases, animals who are kept in such small confinements and like such as zoos, they found like they are more prone to being more aggressive towards another animal. Like say, there's two animals in one habitat, they're prone to start fighting. It's also prone to start like self-harming itself. I can support this fact with behavioral impact on orcas in SeaWorld. Orcas have their own languages, like us, so it's exclusive to each pod. Separating orcas from their pod is like ripping a person away from their family with no way to communicate with any others. In captivity, orcas can become aggressive and start exhibiting self-destructive behavior such as gnawing on the tank and bashing their head into the walls of the tank.
Well, and for animal confinement, I feel that there's also environments that are still being trashed and polluted by things that are bad for the environment, and I feel that animals should be treated if they're injured.
Yeah, but the thing is you can easily solve that problem by at least providing a larger sanctuary rather than a zoo area. Because when you consider zoos, it's like a lot place. It's like considered mainly like attractions for the people. It's not really about the animals. So it's like they spend most of their time putting the space into like picnic areas and playgrounds and like food courts and stuff like that. And then the little spaces are just held for like these big animals who cannot fit in there, so they're just stuck there.
Zoos play an important role to animal reproduction. In natural ecosystems, it's hard for animals to find a partner.
Well, even then, it's gonna be tougher on them because, like, if you put two animals in a zoo, they're most likely not gonna click like that. Like, it's easier for them to habitat out in the natural wild because they have these life skills that they learn, like how to mate and stuff like that. When you just throw two animals that, like, say from two different parts of the world, the same species in two different areas, put them there, they might like not know their own life skills, so they might not know how to do that certain thing. So either way, it might not even be effective.
Other than zoos, there's also other like communities that actually have like specifically for like one species. They have like for seahorses, there's like they have like huge tanks for them, and since there's a lot of them, like it's a lot of there's a lot of for them to meet. A lot of seahorses for them to meet.
Yeah, but even so, you still see like these big animals such as like elephants or rhinos that like are slowly becoming like more endangered, like as you see in the wild. But they're also like, I don't know, like when they're in zoos, they're like not treated well. So it's like either way, like it's not helpful. Like they may be like serving like bigger habitats for those small ones, but those bigger animals they have nowhere else to go, and they need really really big areas to be able to live in their natural habitats.
Well, there's not always zoos that treat the animals badly. Like the Phoenix Zoo has taken in endangered species and successfully reserved their species.
Yeah, but it was also found that like 99% of animals and most on all zoos are pretty much under endangered. So
Most people working at zoos actually like animals. It's not like they would take the job expecting to hurt them. Um, and they would want to work closely with them and help them thrive.
so like every zoo has like they surplus their animals, which means like old animals that like no one looks at anymore. They'll send them away to be canned for hunting, researches, or like even circuses. Like they don't really show that they care. So they're just trying to make room for the next big thing, like, oh, the next baby animal, we're gonna do that. You're gonna do it.
Well, most circuses that get rid of their animals, the Baltimore Zoo and Detroit Zoo rescued some of the animals that retired from circuses.
Sorry.
Retired animals are in fact looked after, and I can agree with that point. But that is still taking what is supposed to be a wild animal and just stripping away what makes them that animal.
To add on to that too, I was gonna say like when you take away an animal from its natural habitat, you're placing him in like such a small enclosure. You're taking away its freedom. Like it's literally like being incarcerated, like being in jail. Like you're in this small area, you have no freedoms, and the only difference between that is that animals they don't do nothing. They're like literally living in their own habitats. Meanwhile, like these people are taking them away because young children want to see them. Which even then, it's not even about the kids anymore. It's just about trying to bring in more income for that too.
To segue into what I have here using the small enclosures, for example, in SeaWorld tanks, the measurements are 30 feet deep, while male orcas are an average of 20 to 26 feet, which is 6 to 8 meters lengthwise.
One eternity later.
SeaWorld tanks are 86 by 51 feet, whereas the average male orca is around 20 to 26 feet lengthwise, and the average female orca is 18 to 22 feet lengthwise. Obviously, 86 by 51 is the bare minimum. Along with that, they are 34 feet deep, and orcas dive from 100 to 500 feet several times a day, every day. Confining them can cause immense level of boredom and stress. In 2018, killer whales have even broken a record to have dove 1,000 feet.
I will agree. SeaWorld and entertainment of animals can be not good for animals, but I feel that there's a lot of sanctuaries and programs out there that do help injured animals and then soon release them into their natural habitat.
Zoos can also raise awareness to environmental problems. They also provide research to doctors to find cures for most of them.
Yeah, but even then, it was found that a lot of zoos they use stuff like that, like veterinary skills and stuff like that, provide for the animals as an excuse just so they can have a reason to keep animals like that in their enclosures.
Two very boring minutes later.
It was also found that pretty much like a lot of animals, or that 800,000 animals that live within the United States reside within aquariums and zoos. And that's a lot of animals to be kept within small enclosures and small zoos for little kids.
Although that's true, it's not always for the kids. Most of the animals struggle to find food in the wild, and they die off because of that. And zoos have increased their rate of growth. They don't have to struggle to get food, and they're not required to hunt for every meal.
Yeah, while that might be true, it's the same thing as I was pointing out earlier. When you just place them, say, like they live in an enclosure their whole lives, you're not teaching that life skill. So, like, say this animal is like lived in an enclosure its whole life, and then boom, out of nowhere they decided to release to the wild because they feel like they've helped it. That animal has learned no life skills, so they can literally no longer like be able to survive or adapt to their environments. They have no life skills. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to like make a habitat for themselves. They don't know what to do.
Most zoos make it required to like make sure that the food is not already dead. So they do still kind of like give that sense of hunting, but it's not like they don't have to like go out and actually like, find it.
Yeah, but the thing is that that's kind of what the animals need, because that's not like compared to real world. Like you're not gonna expect it to be just there, so you're gonna have to like look. Animals have to like, look to search and like actually try to find its food. Meanwhile, in zoos, they're gonna do that.
Yeah, but animals that are in the wild, they don't get as well fed as the ones compared to the ones in zoos.
And we will be back with commercial break.
Did you know that 2.5 trillion pieces of landfill flow in the ocean, clogging up ecosystems, killing animals, and they even make up entire islands? We need the ocean, and the ocean needs us now more than ever. You can help clean all this up by donating to Mr. Beast's TNCs. Contact information here. Hi, welcome back. We will now continue the debate. I have seen that, in again cases like SeaWorld, it does keep orcas away from competing predators and provides consistent food sources. A lot of the time, they spend with the size of the tanks. They spend half of their time outside of the water, which causes skin issues. And on top of that, while they do keep them fed, they keep them away from predators. It causes the failure in one vital part of this animal, and it's called dorsal fin collapse, which is caused by the muscles in the dorsal fin just flopping over.
To add on to what she was saying, was a little bit like about how orcas are spending a lot of time out of the waters. It's mainly for like their shows, as you've seen if you see a show like that. So it kind of like benefits more it goes to the argument more that zoos are mainly for the people. Like it has shown like they're not really in the best interest of the animals per se. Those are typically what we would see sanctuaries are for, which yes, I've seen like a lot of sanctuaries. They are very beneficial, but like zoos in general, they're more like of an attraction to like people because like they're like, oh, look at this animal. I've never seen this animal in person. Let me go see it.
Some animals, like dogs, they like seeing people.
Cut that out.
What else is? I don't have anything on my card.
We can switch the topic to poultry if you guys know anything about it.
What's that?
Holding animals for livestock,
Like for food.
Oh,
like drumsticks, bacon.
okay.
But if you guys are unprepared, shouldn't.
We can make stuff up. Okay.
Do you have anything you wanted to add to
I do have something about aquatic life. In this one documentary on Hulu called Sea of Shadows, there was this team helping this sea creature from fishing cartels and companies who like to sell their organs and fins for money. And they chose to rescue the endangered sea creatures in order to stop fishing cartels and things like that.
That is an interesting point, but the thing is, like, you can easily like solve stuff like that, like such as poaching stuff like that. It's kind of similar to that, like as you'd say, you're kind of killing off animals, like using these animals in their natural habitat. You can easily just like get rid of those poachers, like make it illegal, or like make it more hard for those poachers to like be in those areas, rather than just taking the animals out of their natural habitat. Because it's more about we're trying to protect the people are trying to protect the safety of those animals rather than take them out of their natural habitat and just place them somewhere for like a certain amount of time to the point where they lose all of their like skills and then place them back into the world where they don't know what they're doing.
Going off of that, though, in the documentary, it was said that the areas that they were fishing the sea creatures in were also illegal to fish in, but it was still happening, which was a major problem.
Well, like I said, still like try to make it like harder. Like I know that might just sound like weird, but like make it like more difficult for like those poachers. Like have more like protection around that area. Like make sure there's like people like securing that certain like illegal areas where they know they're not supposed to be there, and cut down on like all that.
But also provide jobs for those who do want to protect animals.
Another point I have too about zoos is like a lot of zoos claim that they make their habitats or enclosures natural for all the animals, when in reality, no matter how natural you're gonna make it, it's always gonna be unnatural and artificial. Because it's always gonna be man-made. You're not gonna just find like this not big grassy area anymore for like a big animal to like live in. Like you're gonna have to make it. You're gonna have to make certain enclosures because you can't just find that within at the very least the United States.
Although that's true, I think most of the time it makes it safer for the animals because they don't have to worry about being hunted for.
Then, at what point does it become domestication? Such as on a lot of social sites like TikTok, Instagram, whatnot, I'm seeing a lot of people cuddling with big cats. I keep on seeing this guy that like has, I think, a leopard or a tiger, and like that tiger or big cat is just in a safe area, yes, but at what like you're domesticating it.
Can you define
When you think about how humans managed to befriend wolves, and over time, dogs became ours and reliant on us, the human. At what point does that start becoming a thing?
I'm adding on to that too because I've also seen like on social media a lot of like these people like they're owning like these wild animals that yes they may be in what they call a safe area within that person, but then again these are wild animals. They live different lives. They like have different like ways of adapting to their own lives. So like, is that really like safe for them? Is it safe for either the animal and the human being itself?
I think as we grow up, we all like every generation has like a different like sense of how we grow. So I think as they learn, we also learn. So
yeah, David. Yeah, but then again, you also, like still these are wild animals. Like there are these like wild places for them. Like they have their own habitats. They should be there. Like that is their home. When you're taking them out of home and placing them in zoos or like keeping them for your pets, like if you want a pet monkey, like it's taking like you're taking like that away from them, and so they're not really fully themselves.
A lot of these animals are also they tend to get used in Hollywood films, like say Pirates of the Caribbean with the capuchin monkey.
I think sometimes it is the animal's choice. Sorry, I was gonna say.
Okay, yeah, but the thing is like not a lot of people technically know what that animal is. Like they make unless they make it because you can't like see like an animal or something talking to like to something a human being would. So that's generally in the mind of a human.
Yeah, but most of the time although they can't speak, they show language in how like they interact with other humans. So they would show like physically that they wouldn't want to.
Yeah, and it is shown that they do and it's like really misinterpreted, like especially in the media. Like I've seen like certain like videos where like a person and like some wild animal will be like together, and they make it seem like that animal's is happy or content. When in reality, those are actual signs of them being like upset, frustrated, agitated, like they're not happy at all. So it's kind of like people are like misguided by like how animals perceive it compared to how we perceive things. Like if we're sad, we're gonna like frown. Like for example, like I know chimpanzees, like when they're like scared of something, they'll like show a smile. Like it's weird. That's kind of like misinterprets the whole thing. Like you're gonna think they're happy, but in reality they're like really irritated, agitated. They're just like upset.
I think that's why most people that do take in wildlife, they are educated on what the animal needs and like how it interacts.
Yeah, but then again, like you're gonna see like a lot, even though like a lot of people, yes, they're mainly educated and they like are qualified to take care of animals. I agree with that. Like if you're educated on the animal and if you're actually providing like a really good habitat for them, like say like an actual habitat for them to live in, that's qualified. Yeah, that's okay. But there's also a lot of people who are just having because they're rich. Like a lot of famous people just have these wild animals just because they're rich and they can. Like they're like, oh, I'm rich, let me buy this. I want to be cool. I got it. And they have done nothing with the animal, and that also kind of leads to what like a lot of like cases are like. If you guys see cases of like animals like hurting humans, killing humans, like killing their owners because they're so agitated they like don't know what to do.
There was also a case of a woman getting her face ripped off by a chimpanzee due to her friend being
Oh my god, I've seen that.
being uneducated on how to take care of a monkey. So they gave it Xanax, and it went crazy. And the lady herself, the owner, went and hid in her room while her friend was being torn apart by a monkey.
Yeah, that just pretty much shows like a lot of people who own these animals, even if they may be like somewhat educated, they're not fully educated in like what to do like in those situations. So, in the best way to like provide safety for first themselves and for the animals themselves is just to have them in their like natural habitat in the wild.
All right. That concludes the debate. Summary. We went over multiple subjects of animal confinement, such as SeaWorld, zoos, rehabilitation centers, and the use of animals within entertainment. Thank you for watching.
This is so weird.
This is so hard. Isn't this there's supposed to be two versions? Two commercials. It's supposed to be one in the middle.
Pros.
This marker's so good because they're Crayola markers and because these markers are made with 100% renewable energy. Wow, and it says it's made with solar energy. And it says Crayola cares about the environment and responsibility makes the products you love. Crayolas.
For more information, contact 1-800-CRAYOLA 800-272-9662.